Tuesday. This is Throwback Tuesday with Blake, the Brewery Explorer. Each Tuesday, I'm gonna be talking about my past, my family's past, and craft, and just how I got involved and how I fell in love with craft beer. Because I think really craft beer is just about not only the beer, but the people you're with, and with your family, friends, and just the scenery. But before we get started, each Tuesday I'm gonna have a throwback beer of some of my very first beers I started drinking on. Since it's St. Patty's week, I decided to go with Guinness, the stout. It was my very first stout. Well, I think a lot of people's first stout. But what I want to first talk about is how I just felt my first experiences with craft beer, which was back in 2012 when I graduated from high school. My family and I went out to St. Louis because I have a cousin that graduated the same year in 2012. I remember my uncle took my dad and I forget who else was with us. We went to Shafley, and when you went, which is a huge brewery out in St. Louis. It's one of the original breweries back in the 80s or 90s. I can't remember which year they came out, but I just know it was one of the first ones. And when I walked in, it's huge. It was big. You could see the fermenters, all the steel, but it was a cool layout and when my dad and uncle were drinking these flights, it just caught my eye. The different colors of beers they had, and it just really caught my eye, and I knew that someday that's what I would want to start drinking on. Then I think we went to Four Hands and Urban Chestnut as well. I think they were only a year old or something because they both opened up in 2011. Then I don't sure it was the same year or next we went. My uncle took us out to Ferguson Brewery, and he was eating onion rings even though I couldn't drink it. And it just was a cool, and it just really taught me how craft beer is just a nice way to hang out. You're not getting drunk off of it. You're just enjoying beer and drinking together. Until I turned 21, and when I turned 21, one of my first beers I bought out in public was Blue Moon. Then went from Blue Moon to Fat Tire to Guinness to Yingling. Those were my first four main beers. I wasn't really. I think I had some IPAs that just hadn't caught on to me yet. It was just something that taste I just had to get used to. Then I think one of my first IPAs was either Zombie Dust or Alaskan Husky IPA, which I tried to find that today, but I can find them. But yeah, so that's how these Throwback Tuesdays are going to work. I'll be back next Tuesday and start talking more about Ohio and how I fell in love with Ohio craft. But like I said, St. Louis is where I really started falling in love with just the atmosphere, the people, and just being with family. Because I think that's what craft beer is all about. Cheers. Hope everyone has a safe St. Patty's Day, and I'll talk to you guys next week.